midweek conversation. Oh, it is so good to be here. So, if you're new, we are three YouTube vloggers who just like to get together once a week for a good old chat. We just pick a random topic and just unpick it. No wonderful like gold nuggets there. Well, sometimes there are, but we ramble our way through a subject till we get the gold. So, but there's no clever crafted sound bites here. We haven't got all the answers, that's for sure. But it's good to get together and have a conversation. So my name's Lisa. I'm from A Life Full of Meaning. We've got Paul here from Narrowboat Life Unlocked and Maxine from Never Too Late, Our Journey. So here we are. Boy, have I missed you both because we weren't here last week. So let's start by catching up and finding out what we've all been up to. Maxine, do you want to go first?
Yeah, we've been settling into the boat. We've now finished getting everything from the lockup that we've got, and we've found a home for most things. And it's just getting used to everything now. It's obviously filling up with water. That was novel because I keep forgetting about that. Switching the pump back on again is another one when we've been out and go, oh no, we've got no water. It's only because the pump wasn't on. And just, generally learning to live. Today is the first day we've come off of the electric. So we're now just on solar and that's it. So we're going to give it a go. But we're loving it.
How are you finding it?
Absolutely love it. Yeah. It's just how we imagined. I'm ready to come out of the marina, but we've now heard that it's going to be the 3rd of April before the bridge is open. So just a few more days. It'll fly, hopefully.
Excellent. Have you got a direction of travel? Have you got a point that you're going to get to? Or are you literally just going to leave the marina and just start your journey?
We're going to start heading towards Hayward Junction. But I know it's not far, but we're just going to take our time to get used to everything. My parents are coming at Easter to meet us there on the Saturday, and then we're just going to gradually get to Crick. So there's no rush. We're just literally going to take our time
and get to Crick. That's very exciting. Very exciting. Paul, what have you been up to?
Well, I've been enjoying this gorgeous weather and the misty mornings. Well, I thought they were misty mornings, but it's just condensation on the window. So it's been really lovely to do my photography and filming. We're chilling here, to be honest. We contacted the Canal and River Trust to see if we could stay a little bit longer because we are just trapped in the canal and killing time until we can go back that away. But apart from that, last weekend was the first weekend where I started selling my art from the boat. And it was I didn't sell loads, but it was really nice chatting to people. And it was good. I enjoyed it.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful. It must be so lovely to be able to meet the people who, buy your artwork and get the feedback, the response when people see your work. It must be so good.
Yeah, definitely. I had a sleepless night the night before thinking, will my card reader work? Because I've never used it yet. I've still not used it. Please, someone pay by card, please. I don't mind the fee.
Please, someone, Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent. That's good. The weather has been wonderful. So we've been down to the caravan. We went on a steam train, which I so enjoyed. It was beautiful, and we upgraded on the way back to the Pullman carriage in the front. It was just all windows and the seats were velvet and the wood. It was lovely. It was like stepping back in time. It was just beautiful. So a lot of rushing around over the last couple of weeks. I started a new job and just been busy. So I can't tell you how much I've looked forward to sitting down and just having a chat. So much. So here we are. This week, I thought we'd talk about inspiration. Okay, this is a subject very close to my heart. I love being inspired, and from all sorts of things. So I thought we'd like unpack it a little bit. Like, what is it, and what makes us inspired, and what does that mean to our lives? So I'm going to start by asking, who inspires you? Anyone want to go first?
Maxine, do you want to go first?
Obviously, well, we had the message this morning, and I thought about it, and it's my mum. She really
Right.
does inspire me because she's done so much, and she's always strong, and it doesn't matter what gets to her, what happens in her life, she's always pushed forward and achieved what she wants. It might take her a bit of time, but she's always done, and she always is there to support everybody else. And so she really does, she really inspires me. And I've had
Inspires you.
work
That's
people that have inspired me,
yeah.
but I think that she's the main person, really.
Oh, she sounds like a wonderful role model.
She is.
Yeah, excellent. What about you, Paul? Who inspires you?
Well, it's I take my inspiration from a lot of places, and I know when I was performing magic, they said don't just go and watch magicians, go to the theatre, get inspired by other productions, concerts. That's really inspiring, people-wise. And do you know what? I've got a bit. I love nature. I think everybody knows that.
Right.
And people like David Attenborough, you can't help but be inspired watching him and his love for the earth and nature. Satish Kumar, who's an Indian British activist, who, he's sorry, my neighbour's knocking on the window because he's filling my tank up with water. How good is it? I've got a live dog soon, and the tank's not full. And he said, "I'll just turn it off for you." So, Satish Kumar, he released a program called, I've got it there, Earth Pilgrim, the Natural World, and it was so inspiring. And I learned a lot from that. But like yourselves, I love Audible. I love reading books. So figures like Barack Obama, even Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's so inspiring to listen to people like that. But also, I don't want to sound dead cliched, but Anthony as well, because he works so hard and he studies so hard and he has this love of everything he does, and he's got the biggest heart and would do anything for anybody. So he's inspiring as well.
That's lovely. That's lovely. On my screen, my picture has frozen in a really horrible, like grimace. Am I frozen on your screen?
No.
Or am I?
No.
No. Well, that's good. It's just like on my screen, it's me frozen like this. Like that. It's not good. It's not good. But anyway, as long as I'm not grimacing at you all. So, who inspires me? I think, and this is everyone's going to roll their eyes at this one. Oprah Winfrey inspires me. She just does. I mean, as I've said, I may have said on more than one occasion, like we are like virtually sisters because we were both born on the 29th of January, obviously some years apart and countries apart. But I feel we are soul sisters. But I find her so inspiring. So from the world of and Michelle Obama inspires me as well. Her autobiography, I mean, was such an amazing listen. Even my kids, I was just like, you must listen to her. She's amazing. They really enjoyed it too. But like if I'm going to say real people, not that those people aren't real people, but people I've met. When I met Wendy and Magnus, who owned Nutshell before us, Magnus is just a force of amazing energy. I mean, I was just astounded by, astounded and inspired by their attitude to life, the way they live their life. So I found Wendy and Magnus to be a really inspiring couple, and the first time really that I've gone, oh my goodness, you know, that is really an inspiring way to live. So yeah, I'd say that. But like you, Paul, I take inspiration from lots of things around me. In fact, the next question is, where do you take inspiration from? You've already mentioned wildlife and being in nature, Paul. Are there any other places that we take inspiration from?
Yeah, I think like yourself, Lisa, and it's people who are humble, isn't it? I think that's where I take my inspiration from. And I think we've all been brought up to be decent people. Yeah, so it's a difficult one to answer that. I really take inspiration from nature. I just think, yeah, everything around us is amazing. You know, you see the swallows arrive, and that always makes me feel so good. Summer's here. They've travelled all the way from South Africa, those tiny little birds.
Yeah.
So yeah, nature definitely. From other people and stories that you know, you read stories. I think there should be a news channel, I've said this before, that's just full of positive, good stories in the world. And
Yeah.
you know, definitely, if there was a magazine out there that was full of positive news and good things going on in the world and people doing great things, like, you know, I heard about this taxi driver in America, that this old lady who had dementia or Alzheimer's. She was confused, didn't know where she was, and this taxi driver drove her 200 miles and didn't charge her. And it's just things like
Yeah.
that are really inspiring. Yeah, and make you feel good to be alive, don't they? And then from watching sport, I think if you watch anything like the Olympics, you know how hard those people have worked and trained. And it sort of gives you a kick up the bum, doesn't it? That you think, oh, I'm tired today and I don't want to do my accounts. Well, you know, they've just run a marathon in training.
Yeah, absolutely. That's real commitment, isn't it? That, you know, their commitment to sport is just so inspiring.
Yeah.
Maxine, is there anything that gives you inspiration other than people?
Oh, yeah. I mean, can I first just say hello to Richard, who's just put a message on? He's my brother. He's just joined us.
Hello, Richard.
Yeah, I mean, I think I love cooking, so I take a lot of inspiration from many, many chefs, especially if there's anything that people are doing slightly different. I love, you know, they definitely inspire me to have a go and see. And again, with different coaches and things like that, I get inspiration for anybody that's doing something a bit different. It does inspire me to look into different methods of helping and learning different, different things.
I can resonate with that, Maxine, because the thing that inspires me is like community action. When a small group of people get together and do something that's, you know, that's different, or just make a difference in their local area. I remember when I volunteered with Transition Town in Northampton, and I suggested we do a cash mob, and which is where you get a group of people together and you all go to one independent shop and you all spend some money there, and it just makes such a difference to that shop. Oh, it's like it ticks all the boxes, you know. It's a small group of people making a big difference to you know, an individual, or to you know, the communities they live in. So that I find really inspiring. So yeah, so let's just have a quick hello to everybody. Linda, Richard, and little Native crocheting, and Deb. Like a flash mob, I find them inspiring. Oh yeah, I love a flash mob. Yeah, so that's that group collection of people all doing something. I just find you know, it magnifies that experience, doesn't it? So what does inspiration mean to you? What does it mean? Shall I start with
Yeah.
what I see? Okay, so for me, inspiration feels like fire in the belly. Do you know what I mean? It feels like a spark, an idea. It feels like possibility. That's how I see inspiration. When I see something, I feel moved by it, and it makes I'm literally, as I'm speaking, I'm like trying to move out my seat. It's like a physical feeling of energy that makes me want to make or do or create or be better. That's a rubbish way of saying it, but that's what being inspired, it's more a feeling than a sort of a cognitive thought. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I was going to say it's like it's a heightened motivation, isn't it? Inspiration really motivates you to do better in anything, really. You know, looking at artists in galleries inspires me to do better art. So everything around us that inspires us. I think it's just heightened motivation is the way I look at it. But it's you can watch a film, can't you?
That's a good way to put it, Paul. What about you, Maxine?
Yeah, so it's excitement. I think it's an excitement in me, and it wants me to achieve and to have a go myself. And it's just that buzz and to learn more and to find out more and see if you can do whatever's there, that's inspired you to. And it's definitely the excitement side of it, I think.
I've got something that I want to throw out there. So a friend of mine was saying that her and her husband had watched someone play the piano, and one person was so inspired by listening to this amazing music. It inspired them to want to learn the piano. It was so inspiring. It was so beautiful. They was like, that's it, I'm going to learn the piano. And then the other side of the partnership felt completely demotivated to do that, because their reckoning was, I'm never going to be that good, so I'm not even going to bother learn. And I just thought, sometimes when we see, let's put it against people, let's say great people, do we see people doing amazing things and you think, do we feel inspired to be more, to do more, or actually I'm never gonna get there, so why bother trying? What do you think about that? Or have you ever felt that in any area?
I have, definitely. Sorry, Maxine, do you want to go?
No, it's all right. I'm echoing, so I'm just trying to catch. I don't want to jump in. It would inspire me to have a go even more. It wouldn't deplete me. I want to have a go just to see, even though I might not be as good, but see how far you could get to.
What was you going to say, Paul?
Yeah, I think it depends on the person's mindset, doesn't it? Do you think the person that said, well, I'm never going to be able to play the piano, was being negative or not having that self-belief? I think sometimes the danger is I can look at artists, and I follow a lot of artists on Instagram, and I see some of that work, and I'm constantly saying to Anthony, oh, look at that, that's amazing. And I'm blown away by the work. And it can make you feel demotivated and inferior to those other artists. And I suppose that's the danger. But then if you're being positive about it, you've got to think maybe that artist has been doing this for 20 years and, that's something to aim for. So, it's a tricky balance, isn't it? Going from being motivated to demotivated, I suppose.
I've got to say that my friend who actually said this, she's super successful,
right?
Super successful in her career. And you put her up there as like a high achiever. And I think she just equated like, well, it's going to take me this much effort to get that good. I'm never going to be that good. I'm not prepared to put in the effort. And I think that's quite interesting. During lockdown, do you remember when I dallied with lots of creative projects? Do you remember?
We loved watching that.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is I mean, I'm pretty rubbish in all forms of like painting, drawing, all those sort of activities. But the great thing about in lockdown, when I tried so many things, is that I wasn't doing them to get better at them. I was just doing them for the absolute joy of,
Yeah.
putting paint on a canvas. And for me, because I know I was pretty rubbish, I had no attached, I wasn't attached to the outcome of that. So that enabled me to enjoy the process way more than if I was, if I was good and I wanted to get better, I think it was just a different energy. So that's really interesting, isn't it? About the motivation or demotivation that inspiration can give us. So, next question. How important is it for you to feel inspired? Maxine, do you want to go first?
It's not the utmost important thing, because I can always find something to inspire me even in small things. But it does, as I say, it does give me a huge buzz when I find somebody that really does inspire me, and I want to find out more and more information and give whatever it is that they've done or I've been intrigued about to find out more information. But it's not the be all and end all for me.
No. Okay. Paul, what about you?
Yeah, same thing really. I mean, I always feel in a better frame of mind when I'm motivated and inspired. I know we're talking about inspiration, not motivation, but yeah, I can't help but be
they're
inspired.
closely linked.
Yeah,
aren't they? They're so close, I think.
Yeah, I think if I go to bed and I've seen something that inspires me, it fires me up for the next day. And the opposite, if I read something that's not inspiring, I'm still motivated, I suppose, the next day. But it's like you said about that fire in the belly. I think that was a good analogy. It's that, isn't it? It's when I was going to the gym, I used to watch all these sports people and actors and athletes who are training hard every day, and it was saying, do what the average person doesn't do to achieve that. So I'm full of things like that.
Yeah, we're all very similar. I think there's a type of personality that we all three of us are, and we are those people, because I've watched my fair share of those sort of inspirational videos. While I was thinking about inspiration, it made me look at it in a slightly different way. So I get inspired. Number one, it's important. It is important to me. I love that feeling, that energy, that excitement, and I can get inspired over anything. Right? I'll watch a YouTube video on someone making something. I'm inspired. Oh, I want to give it a go. I'm all for it. And I can speak to someone. Or in fact, do you remember how this very conversation came about? I was listening to a podcast, which was a great conversation. And I was like, I was inspired to have a great conversation with, people who are just great to have a chat to. And I rang you both up and I was like, do you want to do this? That podcast inspired me, but what I realised is maybe I just have like shiny new object syndrome. When you see something shiny and you're like, let's do this and then let's do that. Maybe that's what I have. And I've just wrapped it up and called it inspiration. But I'm basically just chasing after the next shiny new thing. I don't know. I'm not, but it was just a realisation.
Are we all similar in that? Because I can watch a great film about an author and I think, oh, I'd love to write a book. And
Me too. Honestly, if I acted on everything that I was inspired about, oh man, I think that's why I leave a trail of chaos behind me, of all these things that inspired me in the moment that I just then created or made, and then just leave the mess. And the great thing is Glenn's a really good finisher. So I generally cause the chaos, make the mess, and Glenn's behind me, so finishing everything. So yeah,
maybe there are things that are achievable, aren't they? Because I'm not inspired by anyone climbing up these buildings like the Shard, and then free fall jumping off.
Yeah.
But I'm not inspired to do anything like that.
No, that doesn't inspire me at all. Anything like that, no, that doesn't. Right, let's have a look. Deb said this is a good thing, and this is about when we were talking about inspiration and how that feels. It says, Deb says, it means I've been triggered to learn something new or go off completely on a creative tangent. That's a great way of putting that, Deb. That really is. So hello to Ben. And Ben says, living off grid is something I'm inspired to do after seeing other boaters do. I mean, it is inspiring. I was terrified when we went off grid for the first time. I was just like, I don't think I can do it. But I found watching others live successfully off grid really inspiring too. Yeah. Let's have a look. Liv says, my friend's bravery through cancer treatment inspired me to be brave if I go for any treatments I've been scared of before. Yeah, lovely. That's when you see people's bravery through illness, it makes you look, doesn't it, and be inspired by that person. So Claire, love and light to all you beautiful people. Thank you, Claire. So what are the blocks to feeling inspired? Do you ever get to that point where you just, you don't feel inspired? And let me just tell you, one of the ones is when I'm really busy. That busyness that I invite into my life. No, I don't invite it. I create it. I cause it. But that busyness is a block for inspiration because I'm so busy doing and running around. It's not until I stop and take a breath that I can feel inspired by something. So that's my one. Have you got any blocks that get in your way? Maxine, can you think of anything?
Yeah, it's very similar. I've put, because when you've got lots going on around you, so you can't think and you just need to take a step back. If your mind's full of everything, that's when I struggle.
That's busyness, and it does that. It sucks the joy. Even when you're doing the good stuff, that's what I find. Even when I've crammed my life full of stuff I want to be doing, if I'm so busy doing it, it's just a blur. And what I've got to learn is that the stopping, the slowing down, the taking a breath is where all that gold is when it comes to, being inspired, but just being in that moment and feeling good, is I can't stress how much I need to do that. That's
same for me, really. Being busy and distractions in your life, and I suppose being busy can be a distraction. Same thing. And then I get frustrated because I've been inspired to do all these things that I want to try. Friends of ours, I think I've mentioned before, gave up their jobs in teaching and sold a house and went and bought a caravan in the lakes, and that they're going to use that as a home base and travel the world. And we were inspired by them really to do something similar by buying the narrowboat, because they seem so happy all the time, and they found the time to go for walks along the beach and along the prom and be in nature and have time if they wanted to do any craft. So I think they were an inspiration to us.
That's excellent. What advice? Oh no! I mean, I hate giving any sort of advice. I'm just like, it should come with a warning. I don't. But what advice if someone said that they didn't feel inspired to do anything and they just wanted to sit on the sofa? What would you say? To be honest, I'd say just sit there and enjoy.
No, you can't.
But have you got any sort of words of wisdom for anyone that might struggle to find some sort of inspiration? Paul, Have you got anything?
Yeah, I think you know your mood board. Was it a mood board or
Yeah. It's still at
Yeah.
the top of the
Yeah.
stairs.
Yeah, something like that. But if you actually follow
Yeah.
through and do some of those things, just changing anything about your environment, I think. Do you think as people who love being on narrowboats, we get called travellers, and I don't think we can settle in one place, but I think it really does you good to have a change of scenery. So, maybe go out with a friend you've not seen for a while, arrange to go to the theatre, see some art, go to a nice garden, do all the things that get you out of that. Is it a comfort zone? Would we call it a comfort zone? I think it's easy to. That comfort zone is so easy to fall into, and we all know people that say, "Oh, I've not done anything this year. Next year, I'm going to go out more and see more plays and more theatre and go to the cinema more," and it doesn't happen. And yeah, I just think it does you good to have a change of scenery and do something different.
Yeah, I agree, Paul. Actually, those new perspectives on things can often spark just if we take inspiration down a couple of notches to just interest. If you find you're interested in something, and then as you learn something more about or what you're interested in, you could find yourself inspired to take action. Maybe that's what it is. It's not some sort of lofty ideal. It's maybe it's just inspired to take action is enough. Well, Maxine, have you got anything on what people could do?
Yeah, I was say I think it's just taking at each stage. So find something that you enjoy, and then look into that even deeper, and then you'll find people that might inspire you to do different aspects of it and things like that. And again, with the mood board, I think that's really, really good idea. And the vision board, I have a vision board, and I change it every few months, and I think that's really good because it just inspires you to look for something new. But don't get het up on it, because you don't have to have lots and lots of inspiration within your life. Even if you only have a couple of little bits, that will then change your life, and then it'll make you build on finding new inspirational ideas going forward.
Sometimes it can just feel like another thing that you got to do if you're not feeling inspired, and then we come along, we're like, inspiration, it's the best thing for you, and someone's thinking, that's another thing on my list. I've just now got to be inspired. So yeah, Liv makes a great point. Don't be afraid of making a mistake. I think sometimes that need to keep safe stops us from trying new things. Oh, little old me, that is a great one here. When I was young, I looked to older people for inspiration, but now I'm older, I look to the younger generation to inspire me to stay young. I love that. Me too, actually. The one thing I loved about working at the hotel was working with young people. It's just I find I get such a lot out of it. So that's that's brilliant. So have we covered inspiration, do you reckon? Have we covered it? Is there anything we've missed?
I don't think so. Something that keeps coming to my mind, and I didn't know whether to say it or not, but I used to do a lot of shows for special needs children, and I was always inspired, one, by the staff, and two, by the kids. Not bravery sounds condescending, but just outlook on life. They had all these disabilities. Some of them couldn't walk, but they just seemed so happy. And there are often days where we're fed up and we're going to work. It's like, oh, I can't be bothered. And then to go into an environment like that, you come out totally inspired. And that's me. I just say it.
Absolutely. And my friend Hayley, her daughter has Down syndrome, and Hayley does a lot of speaking and educating of healthcare care professionals, and Hayley often talks about the wonderful gifts that her daughter helped her see, you know, the joy of living in the moment, that, you know, her daughter just shows the way in how to, you know, live in the moment. So yeah, inspiration from all sorts. Ben saying, I still need to be brave taking my boat through a lock by myself. Do you know what I find watching single-handed crew, you know, so inspirational. I watch people sometimes and I just think, wow, they've inspired me to know that, you know, to learn how to handle a boat in that way. So yeah, absolutely.
And especially when they're filming it as well, because that's another added dimension to it, isn't it?
Oh no, I know. It's like it's all going on. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, so and morning to Janet, who's tuned in, Mot. So yeah, I think we've covered it, haven't we? Do you think? Have we nailed inspiration?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you know what I'd like to talk about next time? I know I'm jumping ahead. I'd like to talk about some of the great things about getting older. I've been thinking about it this morning. And well, yesterday, like me and Glenn were doing a bit of like, oh, you know, aging, oh, it's bad. And I sort of gave myself a talking to this morning. And I was like, no, there's some great things, you know, about getting older. And I'd love to explore that in more detail if you're up for it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, brilliant. Brilliant.
When it happens.
Well, what's that?
When it happens. I don't like to when we're getting older.
No, but I think there's some really interesting conversations about being in this sort of middle stage of our lives, and about the future, and about what we've learned as we've you know, lived through our 20s and 30s and 40s, and the positive stuff about getting older. Because to be honest, sometimes you can look at getting older and you're just like, oh, it don't look much fun. You know, and I'm guilty of falling into that recently. So I'd love to explore that one in more detail. So if you're up for that next time, we can do that. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who's joined us on the live chat. We really appreciate you being here and contributing. So thank you. We really appreciate that. And hopefully we'll see you next week.
Thanks a lot, everyone. Bye.
See ya. Bye.